Hello, friends. Hello, friends. A tradition unlike any other.
Oh, my goodness. In your life, have you seen anything like that?
There it is! Adam Scott, a life changer. Mashed potato!
Here it comes.
A quick note from our good friends at Cobra about their innovative new family of LTDX drivers, fairways, and hybrids. The LTDX woods feature power core technology, which lowers spin and delivers powerful ball speed upon impact. To ensure the new LTDX line is able to optimize performance for all types of players, it's available in 3 distinct models. The LTDX LS is a low spin model designed for skilled players with faster swing speeds. The LTDX Max combines maximum stability and maximum draw bias. Thank you very much. And the LTDX is the perfect blend of both, creating the best combination of low spin and maximum forgiveness. For more information about the LTDX line, visit www.cobragolf.com.au or try one for yourself at your nearest golf shop. This is the 19th Tee podcast. Kieran Marsh, Nathan Drudy back with you for another episode. Drudster, one of my favourite stories in golf in the last couple of weeks has been the elevation of Australia's newest member of the PGA Tour in Harrison Endycott, who, of course, secured one of the initial 25 cards after the final event of the regular season on the Korn Ferry Tour. Of course, breakthrough for his maiden professional win earlier this season on the Korn Ferry Tour. And I think finished around the early 20s in that 25 who got elevated after the regular season. We spoke a lot about it a couple of weeks ago around the time that he was elevated, about how much that story resonates, I think, with the broader Australian public here, because it represents really 95% of our Aussie golfers around the world who are pushing shit uphill just to realise a dream and finally broke through. So, look, we said it at the time. It would be great to have him on to the show. And this is what we do. We say things and we deliver. That's what we're known for, Drewster, because I'm very pleased to say that we have, amongst his busy travel schedule as he wraps up the Korn Ferry Tour season and prepares in just a few short weeks to make his debut on the PGA Tour, managed to track Harrison Endycott down. And our newest Druids PGA Tour member joins us now. Harrison Endycott, welcome to the 19th Tee. Thanks so much for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks very much for having me, guys. It's nice to be on your show, and it's nice and early here in Ohio. But no, it's great to be chatting to all the Aussies down under.
But probably first and foremost, you've had a little bit of time now, and really the need to continue to focus with the KFT finals continuing. So I suppose removed now a week and a bit, how the emotions, how you're feeling, and has it sunk in that, you know, you'll be taking that significant next step come next season?
Yeah, look, it's definitely sunk in now. The putt on the last and Sunday and Omaha, it was weird because, like, you know, you're trying to perform, and I didn't play very well over the weekend, and I was a bit like, you kind of forget that you have locked your tour card up, and you're like, you know, I'm a bit frustrated about not playing too well, you know, and then once you have a couple of beers and things start to settle down a little bit, you're like, oh wow, I'm actually going to the tour now. So it's been a wild experience. We're doing, you know, you're doing a lot of media, and you're doing a lot of new obligations, getting ready to start the year on the PGA Tour with the tour. But it's been so much fun, and I'm just so looking forward to the new challenge ahead, and worked so hard to get here. And now's the time to not stop working. It's about to work a lot more harder and keep putting the foot down.
We will talk obviously a fair bit about the journey and probably even about the crowning moment. But I suppose I'm curious to know, you've kind of flagged there that there is already a lot of things in motion. And I wonder how you manage to keep an eye on the job at hand right now and not get too far ahead of yourself, because I imagine the temptation to plan and make sure that you're hitting the ground running in your debut PGA Tour season is really important. But you've also got a little bit of work left to do in front of you. So how are you kind of balancing that act?
In the end of the day, it's still another golf tournament. You know, it's you've still got I got 2 more weeks of the playoffs. It's about making your number better. It's about making your tour card better. So the better I play over these next 2 weeks, I get a bit more opportunity on the PGA Tour. So that's mainly my only objective right now is to get out and play my best, and whatever it is, it is. The golf courses we're playing over the next 2 weeks are really good golf courses too. Um, you just got to stay in the week. I've had a few chats with a few veterans and guys who have been very successful on the PGA Tour, and they all say pretty much the exactly same thing. Just do the job that's in hand. Like you've got a tournament this week, go play. It doesn't matter if it's for $12 million. Doesn't matter if it's for $500,000. You've still got a golf tournament you need to play, and I'm just looking forward to the challenge this week. It's a new challenge, and just want to do my best, and whatever it is, it is.
Mate, like how far back does this journey sort of go, I guess, to get to the tour? Because you've obviously been knocking around on the Korn Ferry for a little while. You've had a wonderful season this year, obviously qualifying and getting your card for the PGA Tour, but a win at the Huntsville Championship as well, some other great top tens, a top 5 at the Utah Championship. Like, how far back does this sort of all go, and the belief, I guess, where does that all start for you?
Like, it's an interesting one, because you always have belief, and every kid has belief growing up. Like, when I was a young kid, waking up, watching the Masters at 4 a.m., going to school that day, you sit there and go, I'm going to do that one day. I'm going to do that one day. But to become a reality, you need results. And I just wasn't quite getting the results I was after. I don't know if I was digging too deep into my achievements, as in I don't know if I was asking too much. I don't know if I wasn't working hard enough. And it was a bit of both, really. Like, in the end, I learned that, okay, I need to work a little bit harder. I need to set my boundaries down a little bit. Rather than focus on one big goal, let's achieve 10 little ones, and I had to learn to do that. And I sat down with my coach at the start of the year. We started learning to do that. It was a simple thing of like, let's get our off weeks closer to 20ths and 30ths. And when we get on, let's try and really contend. And that was one small goal. We got away from the big picture of things. And then I went through that little slump again at the start of the year where I just wasn't playing well. Like, that's golf. Like, I mean, sometimes you just don't, it doesn't matter what you do, you just don't play this game well at all. And then to come out and win, it just swapped around like so quickly. And that really taught me a huge lesson about how just those little 1%ers, they seem to take care of itself over at the right time. And I definitely feel, I mean, there's no wrong time to win. I'll never say that, but I definitely think my win came at the right time, because I was just starting to play a bit better off that slump. And to win at that time just really elevated my confidence. And, to be able to go out and keep competing. It was a very, very roller coaster of a year, that's for sure.
I guess with that in mind, you mentioned your win there. I think you might have missed the cut a couple of weeks leading into it, or particularly the week leading into it. Anyway, like, very respectfully, but did that surprise you to win that week? Because I picking up what you're saying there, you can often get down in the dumps where you miss a couple of cuts. You go, fuck, what are we doing here? Like, did it kind of surprise you to come out and go, shit, I'm holding the trophy at the end of the week here?
Yeah, like it was. Well, the great thing about the week that I won was I had a week off prior, so I was playing awful leading into that off week. I think we were playing. Correct me. I think we were in Dallas. I was in Dallas, Texas, playing, and yes, I was in Dallas, and I put it this way, I was playing so bad that I played awesome on Friday. I shot 5 under on Friday to miss the cut by 5. Like, it was just, golf was the worst sport in the world for me in that week, and probably the couple of weeks leading. It didn't matter what I did. Like I hit it didn't matter what I tried to do. I was getting bad bounces. I was just putting bad swings on it at the wrong time. I was 3-putting you just go through times where you just like, what am I doing? I get a job. You suck, like, and that was that little wave of times. And the worst thing about that was that it came off started coming off a year when I actually lost my card on the Korn Ferry Tour. I missed 8 cuts in a row to lose my card the previous year. So, you now you're mentally just so down in the dumps, and had an off week. It was great. That was probably the best thing for me. I didn't even touch a club. Like the first 4 days, went and did other things. Did some really good quality work with my coach, and for some reason, I just got to Huntsville and I just was free. Like I wasn't really cared about a result. It got to a point where it's like, you're playing that bad, it can't be any worse. Like, if you're gonna get any worse, you're not going to be out here for that long. So you might as well just go and free it up and go play some golf. And I just got in this element where it wasn't like I standing on the range and puring everything. It wasn't like I was rolling every putt in. It wasn't like I was chipping in from everywhere. It was just, I just had this sense of calmness that week. And, and that was one of the biggest lessons of probably my career, was how calm I was able to make myself, especially down the stretch of that tournament on Sunday, and got my first win. And, and that progressed later into the year. I just felt so much more comfortable being at top of leaderboards. And it sounds stupid, but a lot of people get freaked out when they see their names at top of leaderboards because it's about not making a mistake. And, that now I definitely feel on this tour, obviously the PGA Tour is another step forward again, but, on this tour, you don't get as freaked out when you see your name on the top of the leaderboard. You're like, yeah, let's go. It's a different feeling. And sometimes you need a little boost like that.
It's a really interesting point you make, Harrison, because I listened to you say, the for want of a better term, the failure you experience and that reinforcement of missing cuts and losing a card. And I imagine it's quite easy to slip into a mindset where that scar tissue is very raw, and you might have, an off couple of holes or an off round, and it's easy to slip back into that negative pattern of thinking. So conversely, what has the win done, and then securing your tour card done, and how much does that negate? Because really now you have a different mental path to choose. Like, when you get yourself into these tough situations, you know that you've got the game to not only win tournaments, but take yourself to the best tour in the world. And I wonder how quickly that's turned around for you by breaking through for that win and securing this card.
Yeah, look, I think definitely it's like exactly what you said, Dan. It's literally being able to handle adversity, and I'm going to handle plenty more adversity going to the PGA Tour, and there's a lot of people just don't realize even the top players deal with so much. And I think as a kid growing up, I never really understood that thoroughly. Like, you're a kid playing amateur events, and you feel, you just feel you have to play your best all the time. Like, I was talking to, I had a practice round with David Lingmerth yesterday, and we were talking, and, Dave's a great guy, and, gave me his congratulations about going to the tour, and we got talking. I picked his brain a little bit. I mean, and I made a comment I said, man, I remember watching you on TV winning the Memorial. And he's like, oh, that's cool. Thanks, man. And I said, oh, like, hey, would have been nice to not miss a shot that week. He's like, no, I missed plenty of them. It's like, you're going to deal with so many different little adversities, and even the guys who win on the biggest stage in the world, they turn around and they stuff up. Like everyone stuffs up, and for me, for what I dealt with, they give the old saying, oh, yeah, at the time, I had so many people saying, like, this might be the best thing that's ever happened for you. And you just sitting there going, you're freaking kidding me, aren't you? Like, I've just played so poorly. And, but looking back now, as you grow and you take your game to a different level, like you start actually being a lot more optimistic about, the disappointments in the game rather than the success, because you're going to have more disappointments than success. I mean, what was Tiger's stat? Tiger was the game's greatest and he only won like 43% of his career. Like, that's still failing more than succeeding, if you know what I mean. But in our game, that is, we will never see a Tiger like that ever again. Like that is just insane, the stats that he did. Like that's next to perfection. But it's still miles under perfection. And I think once you get into a mindset of understanding that from week to week basis, I think that's when those good weeks creep up on you when you're least expected.
You've trod a probably non-traditional path to the PGA Tour for an Australian, and I want to we do want to get into that kind of decision to head to Latin America, but you just picked it a bit of a thread there for me. I wonder if because of that unconventional route and because of the experiences that you've taken playing on PGA Tour of Latino America and the places it's taken you, and probably the things that you've just logistically had to deal with, do you think that it puts some things in perspective and like you can take probably more in your stride than potentially other players can because of the path you've taken to get where you are?
Absolutely. I was very fortunate to be, in the Golf Australia national squads and Golf New South Wales state teams. And we have an amazing junior development program at Avondale Golf Club where I grew up and played. And, when you're a top amateur, I would say in any country, like, I was actually talking about like this with a few other guys who are, in some Eisenhower teams for the US and Walker Cup teams, guys like that. You're treated like a top 10 player in the world, and golf. You just got to go play. Like everything else is taken care of because you have a team and a management program, like with Golf Australia, and they send you an email. Oh, here's your itinerary. You got to fly here. You got to fly there. You got to go play. That's what a top 10 player, top 20 player in the world deals with. And I think for me, I went through a bit of a slump again, probably the back end of 2017, right before I turned pro. I came off a really hot year in 2016. And when you're a kid, you come off streaks like that and you just think that this is just going to happen every single time you peg it up, but it doesn't. And I came off that streak and I went and played bad. And I didn't know how to handle it because, I haven't dealt with adversity yet. And I sat down with my team when we went and turned pro, and we all agreed, like, for me to get better, I needed to go and put myself in the lion's den a little bit. I needed to go play the South America or somewhere where you are just on your own. If you play bad, figure it out. If you, get sick, and you got the Wednesday night for a tournament or Tuesday night, figure it out. That was a big step for me. It was very tough. It was very brutal. I definitely recommend it to a lot of players. It's not for everyone, but for me, that elevated my game. I just needed to be able to, go play in an environment that was just so outside my comfort zone, to really appreciate how hard professional golf really is, and it's taken me so long to get to this point now, and I've still got a lot more work to do. I've still got to keep pushing forward. Because of the type of players you're up against, and you're up against the best players in the world, and they've been doing this a lot longer than me, and that I look back now and I go, you know what a cool journey. I got to see some really cool places in South America, but I'm very appreciative of where I'm at right now, and definitely I'll definitely do it all over again, but I don't want to do it all over again. I like to be progressing this way, not that way. But yeah, it's for all the young kids listening out there, and for all my advice to young ones who are trying to make this a career. You've really in anything in your career, you've got to not be afraid to put yourself out there and not be afraid of failing, because you're going to fail in life. That's just how it is.
Of course, we've seen Louis Dobler go over and play over on Latino America as well, so it's good to see more players
awesome.
heading over there. So have you had a chance to actually stop and enjoy the moment for 5 minutes? Because this happened over a week ago, right? Like, so all you needed to do was make the cut, and you had a shit travel day. You're talking to blokes like us. Like, what's going on? Have you had a chance to have 5 minutes to yourself?
Oh, absolutely. Like, put it this way, we had a bit more than 5 minutes on that Sunday night after we got out to the we had a fair few beers that night. That was
nice.
And that was all the guys too. Like, we get to the card ceremony, and because I had to really behave too, because because as you know, I didn't play very well on Sunday, and even Saturday I couldn't get it going. So I had an early tee time on Sunday. I think I had like an 8 o'clock tee time on Sunday, and card ceremony wasn't until 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock. So I'm done, and it's twos. So it's Sunday twos, and so we're done in the space of like 3.5, 4 hours. So it's barely lunchtime. Now I've been presented my tour card. Tours says you're officially going to the PGA Tour. They give you a beer. My dad's got a beer. Like, girlfriend's got a beer. She's had a few beers leading into that, because I think they kind of knew a little bit more than me outside the ropes. But we're having a few drinks, and then we go into the marquee, and I'm hanging out with a couple of the tournament sponsors, and they're feeding you more beers, and then I'm like, it's 2 o'clock. I've had like 6, and I'm gonna do a card ceremony, and then it was a few of the groups behind the boys coming in too, and we got to the card ceremony, and the guys we were actually, I rewatched the video of that ceremony, and I was like, I can't believe how much better we look. Like, we had a few, like we were standing up there, like one of my good buddies, Eric Barnes, Eric had his kids there, and Eric's like, I never drink like this, because I've got kids, like I can't. And we were all just letting loose, and it was fun. I'm watching me on TV walking to get presented my tour card, and I'm just like, I'm doing a great job of walking straight. I thought I was doing zigzags all the way up there. Like, it was a fun afternoon. That was a lot of fun, and had a good dinner that night, and we went and had a really celebrated hard. So that Monday I was hurting a bit, but I mean, you had to do that, and ran into majority of all the guys inside the 25 the coming day, and the following week in Boise, Idaho. Everyone was like, yeah, I was hurting on Monday. It was everyone was hanging a little bit. So, but that's, you got to do those things, and we had a really good time, and it was awesome. It was like, actually, funny story with that. A good buddy of mine, Kevin Roy, who's actually got the 24th card, I think, where his number was. I was praying for Kevy. Like, he's a super bloke. His fiance is she's awesome as well, and they're just a great couple. And old Kevy, he played awesome to the back end of the season, but just didn't quite get a win. And he was like, he didn't have a great weekend, the same as me, but he was like floating between 24, 25. And I've never seen a guy on edge. So like he's normally cool cat, cool collected, and I've never seen how stressed out this guy was. And the moment he got they said your tour bound, he was, oh wow. Like he didn't hold back on he was not holding back on the beers. He was letting loose. It was awesome. He's such a good fella too. So it's always good to see guys like that just get super happy with their achievements. And like he didn't hold back. There was a few beers going for him.
Two-part question. I bet the phone was obviously lighting up with messages from people. So were there any Aussies, I guess, that are currently on the tour that might have reached out to you with messages of congratulations? Secondly, and more importantly, who was the most famous person that reached out to you with congratulations? And if it's Tiger Woods, we'll end it now.
No, look, I feel the guys did message me. A lot of the guys actually, I got a really nice message from Stevie Allen. With Stevie, I spent a bit of time with Stevie, and Stevie's helped me a lot with getting comfortable based in the US and living over here. And he lives, 5-10 minutes from me in Scottsdale. And I got a great message from Stevie, and Aaron Badley sent me a really nice message as well. Bads and I are really good friends, and I remember Bads took me as a guest when I first moved to TPC Scottsdale. When I first moved to the States, and practiced with him as his guest, and now I practice there full time now. But it was pretty cool to remember that journey. I met Bads as a young amateur playing on a Tuesday with him at the Australian Open, and we've stayed in contact since. And I had a ton, but a lot of the Aussies you play with. I don't have Cam Smith's number or Adam Scott's and those boys, but it'd be really cool to be able to go pick those guys' brains.
You will soon, mate.
And so it'd be a lot of fun. It was a really special time. A lot of actually all my school friends back in Australia. It's you just, all the messages you get, from all the people that have followed your journey, and it just shows you just never forget where you come from. I've been very fortunate enough to have such a great support crew, and to be able to do what I've done. And I just wish they were all there to be able to experience it.
I expect you to give us a pretty diplomatic answer here, given you've just taken one of their cards and you're about to head up to the PGA Tour. But you talked about the drama around Kevin Roy, and geez, he got a bit of TV time, did Kevin Roy, around those last couple of holes when he was on the button. And I kind of feel like we get it every year, like that event, that kind of final regular season event in the Korn Ferry Tour is phenomenal drama. And it doesn't have to be manufactured, because it's real human drama. It's 25 guys with an opportunity to change their life and realize a dream. And more often than not, we kind of said this on last week's show when we were talking about your elevation alongside the other 24. More often than not, it gets lost in, I suppose, the beginning of the PGA Tour's playoffs. And I just think maybe there's an opportunity. I don't know your thoughts, but maybe there's an opportunity to give it some breathing space, because it's, as I said, it's not manufactured in any way, shape, or form. It is real, authentic emotion, and more often than not, that's not something we get a lot of opportunity to see in golf. And it just feels as though it could have a great platform to tell those real human stories.
Well, you said that perfectly, because the thing is, what happens is, people just don't realize what people go through. That's why there's so much drama at that last event, because there are guys who have nothing. Like, they have, lost cards. They're battling paycheck to paycheck. They are, they've just gone through so much. Like, there's, you hear of guys who have, obviously lost family members, divorces, all these type of different things. And, you work so hard to get there. There's a very small percentage of people that get to the PGA Tour. And, you know, when you see guys really on that bubble and make a career move, a career jump, you sit there and just go like, wow, like what like I'm not the only person that deals with adversity. Like everyone deals with it at some point. Everyone's just got a different version of it. And like you look at like going back to my buddy Kevin Roy, like, you know, Kevy's been plugging at this for years, and you know, his soon to be wife, like fiance, is just like fully backed him from the get go. Like, as in, she travels with him a lot. She's so behind him, and you could just see how emotional he was when he was presented his tour card, because it's like I've struggled in Canada, I've struggled in Latino America, I've struggled in Korn Ferry, and now I've finally done it, and my fiance is here at the time. Like, you know, like that stuff just makes you so happy, and I'm like pleased that I'm very grateful to be able to know that guy, because that's little things that you want to take forward into your career. And you know, like when you watch on TV, you know, you see a lot of things. Like you see a guy win a major, you know, you see a guy do something spectacular, and you know, the media and the TV doesn't show the hardship leading up to it, you know. And I think that's where golf's a little bit forgotten right now too, is, you know, when I shouldn't say forgotten, I should say, but it's an area that's never touched, is that, you know, the journey of players to get to that point. You know, like look at perfect example when Ken Smith won the Players, you know, hadn't seen his family in 2.5, 3 years, and had his family there and won in front of his family, like, and the highest paid tournament in the world. Like that was like meant to be, you know what I mean? And it's like my dad was over here traveling with me, and he got to see me get presented my tour card. I would call my dad presenting me my tour card, because he called it official. And I look at that and go, that was just meant to be. Like I was meant to lose a tour card last year for this moment, if that makes sense. And I just think golf doesn't, you know, like we lose focus on those things, you know. Like the Aussies did it really, really tough over the last say 2-3 years, especially on our tour. And talking to a few of the guys, I remember talking to Stuart Appleby about it late last year, and like COVID was really, really tough for the Aussies, because we couldn't get back and see our coaches and our family and stuff, because the country was locked down. So to see Aussies and to see players go and get successful in their areas, like it's, you know, when you find out the backstories of people and how hard they work, it's always really special to see that.
Do you have much idea of what your schedule's going to look like? Because obviously, in typical style, the season starts in 2 weeks again, in roughly 2 weeks. I mean, do you know what your schedule looks like?
Last week.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Look briefly right now. It's pretty hectic. It's just I will know more once I see my number. You know, obviously you commit to every event, and then you withdraw whatever you don't want to play and whatever you don't get into. You know, like I'm kind of in a position where I've got to play everything I get into on the PGA Tour, but where this year on the Korn Ferry Tour, you know, I could schedule. But look, start up in Napa Valley, first event. Can't wait for that. We got a bit of fun there too. So we got player orientation the weekend prior. So we go all the rookies have got to go early. And then we have a week off as President's Cup, and you got Sanderson Farm. And then I think it goes Vegas, Zozo. And then it's like CJ Cup. So I'm hoping to play my way into one of those events, the Zozo or CJ. CJ would be very tough to get in on my category, but the talk this year, the way the schedule is, Zozo could go a little deeper, being in Japan, than what it has been in the past. So I don't know where I stand on that list, so which might not be a bad thing. Just go and play next 2 weeks and see what happens. Then you've got what do you got? I think Houston and then RSM, and then you got that break, which is nice, and then you start up in Hawaii, Sony, and like Pebble for AT&T, Farmers Insurance, American Express. So then you start that West Coast swing. Bermuda. I forgot about that, but that's the one Herbie won. Lucas Herbert won last year. This year. Last year. This time, the fall last year. So that was when Herbie got his winners category. So that'd be kind of cool to go play down in Bermuda, and I'd like to put another Aussie to that list. It's always it's always great I always like it when you go to a new tournament and an Aussie's won there, because it's like, oh, like I've played with that guy, like I know his game, I can do that. I've beaten him before, like, so it's like so it'd be kind of cool to go down there and play. So that's kind of the schedule there. It's I know a few guys are committing to the Australian summer down there in Australia, and I would love to be able to get back. I'm just waiting to see. I haven't made any commitments or anything like that. I've still got to ask for an invite if I can come down and play. But I've just got to wait until after next week and see where my numbers stand on the schedule. And your first year out, you've got to play the fall, and you've got to put your priority to finish as high up on the FedEx Cup as you can. And then after that, you can schedule a bit in the following years to come back. But at this stage, I'm just waiting to see where my number is and then make some decisions. I would love to be able to come back and compete, but we'll be holding fire for at least a couple of weeks before I make a decision and see what we do.
Harrison, there may not have been a more interesting year to be joining the PGA Tour. It's quite it's quite incredible, your timing, given everything that is going on. I'm sure you probably
it's great. It's great for me. It's great for me. It's
slots opening up left, right, and center, to be honest.
It's like a verbal war going on. Like, we get email updates of what's going on all the time with Liv and PGA Tour. We're getting all this information. Like, guys just on the range, like, we're all just like, what is going on with this? Like, you got, the Saudi Arabia, the Saudis are, they're pumping so much money into, this new tour, and I don't know too much about it. A few people have asked me, like, they're like, oh, have you got an offer yet to go? And I'm like, no, like, I'm nowhere near that point of the career where to be able to even think of getting offers to go over. But my heart's set to play the PGA Tour. I want to play the PGA Tour. Right now that's all my focus. But I know a few guys that have gone over, and I've spoken to a few guys that have played, and they said it's unbelievable. Like, the events. You've got live music, and you got concerts every night, and it's a different experience, and then, but like, it's helping me and helping our guys, because of that list we're just moving further up that list because of guys going. So, I mean, I'm a believer in, where if the decision is for someone to go over and play the Live Tour, that's benefit for their career, hey, go do it. Like, it doesn't influence me. For my career, I want to play the PGA Tour. That's the journey I've set out as a small boy, and I've now got to this point. That's all I want to play. I want to play week in, week out on the PGA Tour, and I've got goals out there I've set myself, and that's where I'm heading. And good luck to the guys going over to play the Live Tour, and they're going to be very rich guys, but it's an interesting. Growing up, I've never thought golf would be at war with each other. Let's put it that way. I never thought in a million years.
Yeah, well, it's all kicking off. I feel like we're only just scratching the surface of it too. I think that's
I agree.
The scary part. So
I can't agree more. There is so much behind the scenes. Like I learn something new every day with this stuff, like from a player that's evolved and doing stuff. It's insane. Like, and like obviously you got to give credit where credit's due too. I mean, credit to Greg Norman and that group for getting this tour so big, and having the payouts to players is just, it doesn't take 5 minutes of work to do that. Like to get a Korn Ferry event going is years and years of planning and sponsors and stuff like that, and to get this Saudi league going so big so quickly is enormous work. But I'm look, I'm set to play the PGA Tour, and I want to just be the best player I can be out there on that stage, and whatever the future is, the future is. But it's going to be very interesting. I just like we've been sent a lot of emails, put it that way.
Well, we're recording this on Wednesday night, our time, probably Wednesday morning, your time. Commissioner's about to speak in about an hour, so we'll let you go very shortly. But two quick ones to finish off. One from me, one from Marshy. Away from the course, I read on your profile on the tour's website, and you can kill this if it's completely incorrect. A fan of indoor rock climbing and a bit of a coffee aficionado. And if you weren't a professional golfer, you would have already started a small business. Would that small business be a rock climbing center with a cafe in it?
Yeah, maybe. I've never thought of it like that. I do like all that. My girlfriend and I, we do a lot of outdoor stuff when I'm home off weeks, shoot a lot of guns, and go rock climbing, go off-roading and stuff like that. My girl's like, she's like fully into all that. So, you've got a happy wife, happy life, as they say. So, I'm away, 25 weeks of the year. She doesn't get to see me too much. She'll come out occasionally, but it's when I get home on an off week, it's like, okay, honey, like we'll do what you want to do. Like I've got to work from Wednesday on. I've got to do some practice and whatnot, but it's like, okay, sweet. Like, whatever you want to do, I'll do, because, you got to put up with my crap all year. So, we do all that, but actually, that's a sneaky little business opportunity. If I'm fortunate enough to go have a good year out of the tour, I'll look into that little rock climbing center with a nice little coffee shop in there.
How do you do all the shit coffee that the US has? Because I'll give you the hot tip, it's not good over there.
I tell you what, it has expanded dramatically. Like my mum and dad owned a coffee shop for 25 years, and I'm taking to my dad. I've got all my little coffee spots where each tournament that I go to. There's a great little spot where I'm staying this week, just down the road. Fox and Snow, awesome coffee place, awesome. And you just got to know where to go over here. But what's amazing is coffee's really come a long way in the States. Like I don't really often get a bad one anymore. Like it's, I've got two of my favorite coffee places that I go to in when I'm at home in Scottsdale, Mavericks and Press. They're my two spots I go to. And every tournament I've got my little spot. And I tell you what, last week, one of my favorite coffee places in the United States called Bikes and Beans. Awesome coffee shop. It's a little coffee shop in a bike shop, just a cycle shop where they fix up bikes. You grab a coffee, and I was telling all the Aussies last week, I'm like, guys, you got to go to Bikes and Beans. It's a great little coffee spot. You get a little cortada there. Cortada, as you probably know, cortada is for the listeners, it's like a piccolo, and that's my go-to over here, or a latte, and get a double shot over here. It's not quite as strong as it is in Australia, but you get the double shot. It's pretty good. So it gets your heart kick going. But you don't want to hit those. You just make sure you hit it a bit closer on those first few holes, because those 30 footers you can ram through. The caffeine hits you a little bit early in the rounds, but no, coffee's good. I'm not bagging out US coffee anymore. I used to, but not anymore. There's too many good spots over here.
Harrison, you've been exceptionally generous with your time. It would be remiss of us not to ask you, though, before we let you go. So you mentioned you came through the the New South Wales system, and a little search through your Instagram reveals some familiar faces. So for people playing along at home, came through the system with the likes of Trav Smythe, Brett Coletta, Benny Eccles. Saw you in a team there with Blake Windred, who's a good friend of the show. But the one that really stuck out to me, and the question that I want to ask you is, we have become quite fond of the Gale Force, Daniel Gale, ever since his first appearance on this program, where I think we asked a grand total of 4 questions in about an hour and 15-minute conversation. I think the favourite memory was essentially him recounting literally every shot of the back nine of his win in Fiji. And I just wonder if the Gale Force has always been the Gale Force.
Gailey has 100% not changed. Looking forward to catching up with Gale. I haven't seen him for quite some time actually, but Gailey, he's got so much optimism, Daniel, and he thrives off. Put it this way, he thrives off the things he does well, that's his biggest asset. So he's a cool cat. I like that, Daniel, and we've played a lot of golf, shared a lot of memories, had a lot of laughs. All those guys were great. And that's what's so good about us Aussies. Like, no one really hates each other. Everyone's, when you're in those teams, you travel together, you're in hotels together, you're flying together all the time, you're practicing together all the time. You develop really good relationships. Like Trav's a really good, one of my best mates, and I'm so happy that he's kicking goals on that live tour and playing well, and in Asia as well. And I do check the results, like seeing Gailey playing well, Blake Windred. Windred, I really think Blake Windred's going to be a guy that's going to step up a level soon. It's always been like that. He's just, super good, but just slowly good. There's obviously, Cam Davis, who's out on the PGA Tour now, winner on the tour. Looking forward to catching up with him during the year. Like, there's all those guys, like, have been a pleasure to play with, and I've always enjoyed my time with them. And and going back to Gale, I don't think I've ever beaten Gale before, by the way. When it comes to match play or something like that, he always kicks my ass somehow. Like, you get guys like that. Like, you just get guys you can't beat. And Gailey always seems to, I don't know what it is. He just putt's good. I don't know. I just can't beat him. I just can't. I remember there was a story with Gale. I remember I played. We're at he would know this story probably a little bit better than me, but man, this would have been New South Wales Junior at Castle Hill. It was a junior, I think it was a New South Wales Junior. You'd have to ask him, like, one of those junior events at Castle Hill. And anyway, I hit my ball on near an ant's nest. And, as a kid, on the tour, that ruling, you on a fire ant's nest, you get relief and whatnot. And anyway, I didn't. And I didn't even bother asking an official or anything. I just thought, I'm just on man's. I'm a kid, you don't think, right? So anyway, like, these ants started crawling up my leg while I'm trying to hit. So I'm started like stomping down on these ants, killing them all. And Gailey's playing with me. He's like, Gailey turned around and said to me, he's like, I think that's bad karma, dude. You shouldn't kill ants. Like, that's not going to help you round. I'm like, shut up, Gailey. What would you know? Didn't make a putt all day after that. Like, literally couldn't make a single putt. Couldn't even bust an egg that day. I think Gailey had a good tournament that week. I remember. I think he ended up playing really well, being a junior at Castle Hill Country Club. But he still tells a story. He tells a story better than I do. But and then that whole week, he's like, I'm sitting there like, can't do anything. And never since then, never killed an ant ever again, because Gailey made me believe that karma was a bitch, and I couldn't do anything right. So yeah, I'll Gale to he's a funny cat, that kid. So I'm looking forward to catching up with him in the near future over a beer or something.
That's about as a non-brand story I've heard of Gailey. I think in some time. That's classic.
There's thousands
Gale.
of them. There's thousands of them too. So there's that many of them. You know, I remember he dyed his hair. He turns up to the gym one day at the high performance training. He dyed his hair blonde, and he looked like Eminem. And it's like, come on, mate. Like, come on. Like, like, so we'll be sitting in the gym, and like we used to pump music like on the speakers there, so you know, amp you up to work out. And Trav or one of those boys will play the real Slim Shady in there and like just give it to him. It was horrible. It was literally like Brooks Koepka. Remember when Brooks Koepka dyed his hair blonde? It was like that. And it had those blonde streaks in there. And I'm like, oh no, someone didn't get out of the 90s, Gailey. Come on, babe. Come on, mate. He's just a character. He's so much fun. It is just not a care factor in the world with him. That's what I love about him. Yeah, he's awesome.
It's brilliant. It's brilliant. Well, it's been great talking about your career. It's been great reminiscing about Daniel Gale's stories. So it's been great all around. Look, I think I think we said it last week, Harrison, that I think it was really, really pleasing to see you, I suppose, get the reward that you thoroughly deserve given your hard work. Because I think when we discussed it at the time, we said that yours is probably, whilst everyone's story has their own nuances, yours is very reflective of 95% of guys that crack through. Not the 5% who we all see all the time. It's that 95% who work their absolute balls off to get somewhere and get rewarded. And I think that's probably what an awful lot of golf fans back here in Australia resonated with your story last week, and deservedly so. So really appreciate you taking the time to take us on the journey a little bit, and we certainly look forward to tracking your progress as you take that step up to the PGA Tour, mate. And hopefully it won't be the last time we have a chat.
Absolutely, and I appreciate you guys having me on, and thank you so much, and hopefully in the near future, and hopefully we get back down there and play some golf. So love to catch up with you guys, and thanks again.